You see me in a very 90s color today. Looks like I just got out of Jazzercise. I'm going to watch some Arsenio Hall later tonight. But either way, December update for the Pixels are here, all the way back to the 4A. Although this update specifically adds feature drops to the 7 and 7 Pro, but fixes a lot of bugs that people are still leaving comments on for the 6 and the 6 Pro. So it looks like maybe, just maybe, they finally cleaned up all the issues with those devices a little bit over a year after release. So I've got notes here because I don't want to forget anything. Let's talk about the 7 and 7 Pro feature drops, or the feature drops in general, because a couple of them make their way to the Pixel 6 as well. The VPN we talked about. The link will be at the end of this video. It'll be the one that continues on from this video. Love the performance of the VPN. Really good. Held its own against NordVPN and Surfshark in terms of speed. I like it a lot. I think it's a good feature to have for free if you own a 7 or a 7 Pro. Doesn't hurt. You're not going to notice a big drop in performance speed-wise. I think you'll enjoy the extra security. Along with that, the security settings are now unified. You can kind of see your entire thing in the menu there for security. Know your overall security health on your device. Voice clearing on the 7 and 7 Pro. They kind of active noise cancellation on phone calls. If the background noise is a little bit much, they go ahead and clear that up for you. And that's a Tensor 2 specific thing. And then you're going to see voice recorder. You're going to be able to differentiate different participants and label them in a voice memo. If you're having a conversation or an interview dialogue, it'll be able to pick up different people and label them properly. That's 6 and up, Pixel 6 and up. Now you're starting to see those Tensor specific feature drops, which I knew were coming. That's why when I said about the Pixel 5a, avoid it. Don't get a Pixel 5a, because they're going to have to differentiate themselves somehow from other devices and other manufacturers. And one of the ways of doing that is having stuff that you're going to see now Tensor specific. Only if you have a Tensor do you get this feature. That's going to happen more and more in the future. So if you held off for the 6, I think you're going to be in good shape. So let's talk about the fixes. Some of the ones that are specifically for the 7, or things I get a lot of comments on, or I've experienced on the 7. Let's start with battery. Battery usage and setting displays information since last full charge up to 7 days. That's been long coming. We've been needing that for a while. Instead of having to sit there and do math and know how much screen on time you're doing, it'll be able to give you the entire thing. You could select, much like a Samsung device, you could select the entire period and see how much screen on time you're getting, instead of having to do that calculation, well, 24 hours, but it started at midnight again, but I charged it at 8. None of that. Now you're going to be able to see in battery settings what your actual usage is, screen on time, since you last fully charged the device. Fix for issue occasionally causing higher battery usage during media playback. Yeah, been getting that on YouTube and TikTok, been noticing that. Been a big battery drain issue. Not big, but significant where I can notice it on the Pixel 7 Pro. Fix for occasionally preventing adaptive charging. That's one that I haven't experienced, but a lot of people have. I get a lot of comments on people saying adaptive charging isn't working properly and that they've had issues with it. So hopefully this clears it up for you. Let me know in the comments below. This is a questionable and fixed for issue occasionally preventing wireless charging. Another one that I've gotten from people, mostly on the older devices, Pixel 6, Pixel 7. So if that's something that you had on that, Pixel 4 as well, even though that's not going to get this update. I've seen a lot of people with wireless charge issues on Pixel devices in the past, so if this update clears it up, let me know. General improvements for charging, battery usage, thermal performance, we're going to get back to in a little bit because they list that in the system improvements, but I want to talk about thermal stuff for a moment. Here's stuff that I think was Pixel 6 specific, and I think that because I still get comments almost every day about issues with the Pixel 6, and some of the stuff is included in there. Some of the stuff I have myself experience with my Pixel 6. I've noticed people have on the Pixel 6 Pro. Fix for occasionally delaying when fingerprint icons displayed on the lock screen. There's about 3 fixes. I'm going to go through all of them so we can talk about it. Fix for issue occasionally preventing fingerprint sensor from detecting touch while always on display is active. Fix for issue where fingerprint enrollment may occasionally display visual glitches. Let's take the first 2. I always said, and I have a video on it, that I believe that some of the issues with the Pixel 6, as far as fingerprints are concerned, are related to the always on display and the lock screen. There's something to do with animations there. There was something to do with the way they did it or the way the software works that it just didn't match up. It would glitch, it would freeze, it would lag for a moment, then you'd get the fingerprint sensor. It wouldn't display on the screen. You'd have to hit the lock button, then it would display the fingerprint sensor. So I think if you're still having issues with your fingerprint on the Pixel 6 or the 6 Pro, go back and use it and let me know if your experience has changed at all, because I do believe that's what that was targeted for. And then the fix for the issue where the enrollment may occasionally display visual glitches, I've had that on the 6A as well. The 6 and the 6A, where you'd go ahead and register it, and there'd be some sort of odd flicker or glitch on the screen for a moment, and then it would open up. So I've had that on Android 12 and 13 on the 6 and 6A. I know people have had that on the 6 Pro as well. Bluetooth changes, camera changes, haven't had an issue. This is another one that I've had on my 6 and 6A. Fix for an issue occasionally causing screen to flicker when waking up from always on display. That links back to the fingerprint issues and the sensor issues. I think there was an issue there with detecting when the screen should be on, when the lock screen should be on, what brightness level, right? When it starts at that dim level and then goes to the brighter level when you're closer to it. I think that's definitely something that was an issue there, and it was causing lag and perceived performance issues with the fingerprint sensor. Well, not perceived, it was actually happening, but I think that's links back to that stuff that they're fixing here. Another thing on the 6, this again gets back to that as well. Fix for issue occasionally preventing tap to wake or lift to wake from working in certain conditions. A lot of problems with the always on display, a lot of problems with the lock screen. Again, they're trying to clean it up. Here it is. General improvements. This is system improvements now, and this applies, I think, to the 7 and 7 Pro. A lot of comments about this. General improvements to optimize device thermal performance in certain conditions and uses. Does the Pixel 7 Pro for me get warm? Sort of. It's not abnormally warm. I did that video on the S10e, the Samsung device, the Galaxy device, and updated it fully. I could thaw meat on that thing. I could defrost it. It would get really warm. I remember my Sony Xperia getting warm when I was doing updates. I remember my my OnePlus 9 on the Snapdragon 888 getting really warm. The S21 Ultra getting really warm. This idea that iPhones get warm. This idea that Google or the 7 Pro is somehow just this nuclear reactor and it's overly warm and it's a problem and all the rest of it. I don't know where that comes from. I've had phones in the last 3 or 4 years that get significantly warmer than the Pixel 7 Pro at load. Does it get a little warm when you're downloading a bunch of stuff, processor intensive stuff? If it's using the Wi-Fi modem a lot, I notice it gets a little warm. Yeah, but I've noticed that on a lot of devices. So should it be happening? You want to say, oh, it shouldn't happen across the board? Yeah, maybe. But it's not abnormal to Pixel, and certainly not a problem that the Pixel 7 Pro has invented with these chips, whether it's Exynos, whether it's Snapdragon, Qualcomm, whatever it happens to be. I don't think the Pixel 7 Pro is unique in having some sort of warmth that happens when you're using the device at load. A lot of people are saying it's random. Let me know if this is something that's corrected it with the December update, but I'll let you know if I've gotten better performance, but I haven't gotten worse performance as far as the thermal performance going of the device. General improvements for touch response and performance in certain conditions. I haven't had this. Other people have. I've seen comments on it. People having to register it twice. Oh, you know what? That's a lie. On the Pixel 6 I had it, where it would... You'd have to click. I was like, oh, wait, did I open the app? Oh, wait, hold on. Let's try it again. Third time. I had it on the Pixel 6. So, again, this might be something that's targeted at the Pixel 6. Big cleanup. Big cleanup of the Pixel 6. Glad to see it. And Wi-Fi improvements, connectivity, stability, and performance. A lot of people have been telling me about Wi-Fi problems. A lot of 5G problems as well. Tough to tell with 5G. 5G is straight trash. Shouldn't have been on these devices. Half-baked technology when it was released. Not something that people should be using. But overall, I think it's good that my Wi-Fi has been okay. Other people have had problems with Wi-Fi. But let me know how your overall performance with the Pixel 7 Pro is going. I like to see that it's getting the updates alongside all the other devices. They're not having to delay it. They're being proactive. There were 70-something improvements on here. A lot of good stuff on there. They're being proactive. That's like an Apple type thing where you note there's a listed fix before you even notice the problem. That's what I like to see. That's what they're doing. They're keeping up with the updates. They're giving them to the 7 Pro. They're doing feature drops. Overall, a good package so far. Good performance. I like to see that they picked up or cleaned up the 6 and 6 Pro. If you have one, let me know in the comments below. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.